The Bul Armory Axe C. Let's check it out. Bul Armory is known for their 1911s, and the quality rivals about any 1911 out on the market. But the price is coming in to be very competitive with some of the medium price guns, and yet has a lot of great features to them. Today we're going to be taking a look at their Axe series. Now this is inspired on the Glock Gen 3, but it takes it to another level, which is typical for Bul Armory. This is the Axe C Cleaver, and it's a compact about the same size as your Glock 19, and they do make other models as well. And Bul Armory produces these firearms in Israel. I mean, how can you argue with guns made in the Holy Land? Now we've done a couple of reviews on the Bul Armory 1911s, and so when they wanted to send an axe for me to check out, I was pretty excited, being a Glock guy. And guys, the features on this pistol, again, it really takes it to another level. And we appreciate Bul Armory for sending the Axe C Cleaver for this review. The Bul Armory Axe C, and this is their Cleaver version. There is the Tomahawk version. We'll talk about a little bit of the differences. There are full-size versions. The C means compact. This is about the size of a Glock 19, and it is a Gen 3 clone, or Glock inspired. And one of the things about that is that the Glock is so simple. That's one of the biggest appeals of the Glock. And because it's simple, they're very reliable. The great thing about being simple is that you can replace all the parts on your own. You don't have to have a gunsmith. And that makes this really great, especially if you're more survival-minded, or you want something as a go-to gun and you want it dependable. One of the things about these pistols too is that they really upgrade the original Glock. Now first thing we're going to do is drop our magazine. We have a 15+1. It comes with 2 magazines. I have the other one in my range bag. But there is a different type base plate. And with the Bul Armory, a little bit of some wings right here to be able to strip this out easy. But this does fit your standard Glock mags. And we're going to check the chamber, and the gun is empty. Now, one of the things about Glocks is, again, they're super reliable, but guys take their standard Glock and they upgrade them. And they spend a lot of money upgrading them. And so that is also an appeal for people that just want to change. They like the Glock design, but they want something with a little bit of styling. They want more of aggressive texturing. Maybe they want an undercut. They want the beaver tail. They want slide cuts. But one of the things about the original Glock pistol is it's really stood the test of time, and the Glock 19 is still one of the most popular handguns in the world. And the one thing I love about this size pistol is that it makes a good full-size shooting handgun. When you go to the range, it shoots like a full-size gun. It makes an excellent duty carry, home defense type firearm. But it's also small enough to be able to carry. So it kind of fits the bridge between the two. And that's another reason why this size pistol has become so popular. And with the Axe Cleaver, there are some things about this pistol that really upgrade it to another level. And some of the things that people don't like about Glock, Bul Armory has fixed with the Axe. Now again, this is the Cleaver version. The Tomahawk version has optics ready. It has a port here. It's got different type slide serrations, and so it just really upgrades the slide. But there's also their full-size versions as well, and they have the Cleaver full-size and the Tomahawk full-size. This is a stainless steel, and you know it is in the stainless steel color. The serrations are called Cleaver serrations. They are aggressive, they're very unique, but they are easy to grab. And your front serrations as well for press checks. And then the sights are all steel, but they are Glock compatible. And it's a 3-dot sight, nice sight picture. But again, you do have the metal sights. Now the front of the slide has been cut, beveled, and then we have these C-cuts on either side of the barrel, which allows you just to see it. It's just a nice styling feature. But the barrel is a 4.01 inch barrel, which is the same with your Glock 19. Also, we have cuts across the top of the slide to make it a little more narrow, so it's not quite as bulky as the Glock. I'm a big Glock fan, guys. I love the Glock pistols. And really, I mean, this is my Gen 3. I've had it for years. I don't do a whole lot to these pistols. I do have a Wheaton Arms flat-face trigger because they're just phenomenal. And I've put some new sights on it. But otherwise, it's pretty stock. But when you want to go with all the additions, this is ready-made out of the box. You're ready to go. Frame is polymer. Very well done. The design features here, very aggressive texturing. And yet, it's not too sharp. It's not too uncomfortable. But when you grip it, it just fits in your hand. It just allows your hand to have a lot of control over that grip. And then with this undercut, and I talk about that a lot because shooting Glocks a lot, you'll get Glock knuckle, and it'll just wear right here. And you can see, I mean, I shoot a lot of Glocks. It wears right on my finger unless I undercut right here. Plus, that allows you to get your hand higher up toward the really low bore axis of the Glock. And low bore axis makes it really nice as far as the slide coming back in your hand. But also, they have a beaver tail that comes out. And so you can see that it extends past where the Glock does, and so it gives you just more surface with your hand with the frame. And so that's also a big plus. Then you have these like really cool lines right here. And then we have this at the front. Now this is a little pad to not only be able to have a memory pad to put your finger when you're finished shooting, but there's a little ledge that comes off right here. And some companies have been adding this. I really like it because I can take my thumb and I can place it right here, and it actually helps mitigate the recoil. And you know, the faster that you can take second and third follow-up shots from bringing that recoil back down, the better. And so that is an added feature that I just really like with a lot of the new pistols. We have a 3-slot 1913 Picatinny rail. Trigger guard is cut here as well, and then it is cut here for a very thin cut. So it is double undercut. Now the trigger, which we're looking at, flat face trigger, we'll get a closer look in a minute, but this is an excellent trigger. Well surpasses anything that Glock has, and to be honest with you, it surpasses most of the triggers that are out on the market for your standard pistols, but even rivals any of your aftermarket triggers. The slide stop has a little bit of an extension, which is nice. The one thing about Glocks is they have a very minimal slide stop, and I like that. But this gives you just a little bit of a bump out here just to allow you to drop that slide a little easier. The pins are dimpled, which makes it really nice because once you put your punch in there, you're not going to slide off of your pin and mar the frame. The nice cut right here that allows you just to bring your finger in for shooting, and so it gives you a more natural feel right here on this pistol. You have your standard takedown levers right here, just bring them down, but they are extended out just a touch, but yet they're protected with the frame. And so it makes it a little easier to be able to pull those down. Now here at the magazine, we have these little cuts right here, and this allows you, in case you have a malfunction where the mag is jammed, you can grab hold and pull it out. And then you have those ears on the magazine to help you with that as well. And it is a flared magazine well, so it's going to just make those magazines go in even easier. And they do. I mean, they're already tapered a little bit, but this allows this. There is no resistance. It just comes right in and it locks up solid. But one big plus, too, for this pistol is that it goes away from the Glock hump. A lot of people, especially if you're a 1911 guy that shoots that more flat grip, this kind of comes out, and you have to adapt to it. I did. Now, and I did adapt to it because I really like the way these shoot. But it took some time. But the 1911 grip angle is purportedly the most ergonomic, the best way just to get that flat. And so this has a 1911 grip ankle. And again, it has that beaver tail that comes out. Okay, the mag release is large, it's easy to get to, and it's very similar to the Glock Gen 4 or Gen 5. And that means that you can actually change it to the other side. It's one of the things about the Gen 3s that you can't do. And you can see it's a very small, minimal mag release, but then on the other side there's a totally different shape. So you have to go with your Gen 4 or Gen 5 Glock 19s to be able to get that reversible mag release. Here with the Cleaver, you've already got it. Now if you're going to switch it to the left side though, you're going to have your Gen 4 or Gen 5 mags, which have the double cuts right here. With the Gen 3, you only have one cut. But to be honest, most of the magazines I have are Gen 5 magazines and Gen 4, so I can switch out, but I'm right-handed, so it's not really a game changer for me. And yes, your standard Glock mags work very well in this pistol. Now, Bul Armory is really known for their 1911s. We've done a couple of reviews of their standard Commander version, and then we did a review on their ultralight. It is a double stack magazine pistol. It's more of the 2011 style, but it's a subcompact, and they make full-size versions of this as well. But the price really comes in reasonable compared to most of your 2011s. And that's one of the things about the Bul Armory, is that the quality is top-notch, but the prices come in fairly reasonable. And the price of the Cleaver runs $650 with all of these advantages over your Glock. And that's retail price. You can typically get it obviously for less. These have just come out over the past few months, so the price has really not kind of come down to that market level. But I have seen them for under $600. And so that you're getting into your standard Glock series type pistols. And yet you're getting a lot of advanced features on this pistol, including this trigger, that you're not going to get on your standard Glock. Now while the slide and the barrel are stainless steel, all of your parts inside, you see all these parts, the pins are stainless, the extractor stainless, even your takedown levers, even the parts in your trigger. And so that gives you really excellent corrosion resistance. Now it does have, again, a flat face trigger. We have a trigger safety right here, and you can see that if you don't have a full grip on the trigger, it locks back to the frame. And so as we depress it, we're able to bring up the take up, and then it's a really crisp break. There's not a lot of stacking. It's just really nice and crisp. Now for reset, right about there. This is a really excellent trigger. And if you take a standard Glock and you put an aftermarket trigger that's this good, you're going to add a couple of $100s to the price right up front. Trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge and Brownells. 3 pounds, 5.4 ounces. 3 pounds, 10.3 ounces. And Bul Armory says that it's around the 3.5 to 4 pound range. This trigger is excellent. And really, size comparison, I mean, they are pretty much identical in size. The only difference is with the beaver tail, it's going to come out just a touch. On the Gen 5s and Gen 4s, they have an additional piece that you can have a beaver tail, but it expands the grip. And to be honest, this grip is much more ergonomic, I mean, for my hand. The Glock is more blocky. It's more thick. It's not rounded off on the edges. Plus the Gen 3 has the finger grooves, which the Gen 5s do not. And then again, you don't have this back strap. So for Gen 3 comparison, this is an amazingly ergonomic grip. But even with the Gen 5s, which really are my favorite because it just does away with the back strap and the finger grooves. And so it makes it more ergonomic, but honestly, this is, I mean, it's very reminiscent of a 1911, just a little bit thicker, and obviously you've got double stack magazines. The weight on the Bul Armory Cleaver, 1 pound, 7.8 ounces. Weight on the Glock 19 Gen 3, 1 pound, 7.8 ounces. We really appreciate Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo, all made in the USA, and #1 supplier of ammunition in the country. I mean, they do some very consistent ammunition. Typically we use our little loaders, we forgot them, and so we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. There's something about Bul Armory. Their engineers are really putting together some great guns. They're 1911s are just excellent. With this, with that 1911 grip angle, that straight grip angle, it fits naturally with the beaver tail at the back. Of course, you know, you do have your memory pad here at the front, and it's got a small little ledge that is styled in, but man, that thing works well. The cocking serrations, man, they're just really, they're unorthodox, but they're definitely very purposeful. Very well finished. I mean, the slide is well finished, and it does kind of cut down the edges off of even the standard Glock. Gives it a little bit more of a streamlined feel to it. Undercut at the bottom, which makes it nice. That trigger is superb. And so just firing this, and again, using that leg. I mean, it helps to mitigate the recoil, and it's just, this is a great shooting gun. I mean, again, Bul Armory, I'm just continuing to be impressed with those guys. No malfunctions whatsoever. Didn't expect any.
Guys, I just got back from Tactical Response fighting pistol. I took a Glock 19 Gen 3, but I also took the Bul Armory Axi Cleaver. It actually fits in this G-code holster, which these G-code holsters are excellent. I mean, this really held up. I don't think it'll fit in any type holster that's Glock compatible, but it did definitely fit into this holster. I used it all weekend. Now, one of the things about this setup is, of course, it's for fighting pistol. And we shot 750 rounds. Also had one of the G-code mag carriers, and I had a couple of these. I just have the other one in a bag. But one of the things about this pistol is that it was very accurate. I mean, that is one thing they really stress, is getting really tight groups into your target. And there was no reliability issues, period. I mean, again, 750 rounds without any malfunctions. And it was just spot on. I mean, I was really impressed with this pistol before, but after the weekend at Tactical Response for fighting pistol, and I will highly recommend fighting pistol. It is excellent. It's one of the best in the world. If you're carrying a gun for self-defense, Tactical Response is just awesome. And James Yeager, of course, he's passed, but the school is as strong as ever. So this really solidified what I think about the Bul Armory Axi Cleaver. What a name, but man, what a pistol. Now for disassembly, we're going to drop our magazine, check the chamber. First thing you want to do is pull the trigger, bring back your slide about 1/8 of an inch, and then pull down on your takedown tabs. I'm going to tell you, those takedown tabs are nice. Then we have an aluminum guide rod and with a flat spring, which this aids in recoil. And then, of course, our barrel, which is interchangeable with your Glock barrel. Very well made. I mean, this thing, the interior and the exterior of this gun are just excellently finished. With our frame, you can see, I mean, it even has that copper lubricant that Glock uses or something similar. And it's the same. I mean, you can take all the parts, change these out with Glock parts. I wouldn't do that because these have been fitted really nice, and I'm sure there's been some work done to the connector and some of these parts, which makes it just a really nice shooting gun. Interior of the slide, extremely well finished, which I've come to expect from Bul Armory. So all I need to do to field strip for reassembly, just go in reverse order, place our barrel, throw in our guide rod, and bring it over your slide. Very simple. I like simple. Simple equates to reliability. Again, as far as price, the manufacturer suggested retail is $650. Market price will be less typically, so it's a very reasonable offering compared to your Glocks. Definitely a little more expensive, but you're getting a lot more. And as far as pros and cons go, I mean, guys, let's just face it. It takes all the Glock parts, Glock magazines, just has that simple design. That is a huge plus. But the upgrades really are where it count with this one. I mean, the serrations are fantastic. Well over your Glock Gen 3, but even all the way up to your Gen 5. I mean, these serrations are great. The texturing on the grip, the 1911 grip angle, the beaver tail, high cuts here on the trigger guard, full 1913 Picatinny rail. The recoil pad right here, just to help you get a better grip. The trigger is hugely improved over your standard Glock. Magazine's really easy to get, flared magwell. Sight compatibility with your Glock, so there's a bazillion choices. Stainless steel parts internally and with the slide and barrel. It's going to be great for corrosion resistance, especially if you live near the coast. This is going to be a great option. As far as negatives go, I mean, you know, you might not like the styling. That's one thing. I mean, you know, the thing is a lot of guys love just that Glock look. It's utilitarian. It works. It's great. And for me, I've shot over 100,000 rounds through Glock 19. So this is a gun that I rely on and that I can shoot. But this just gives me some upgrades over Glock that are actually practical. And so that definitely is some advantages to it. The price is going to be a little bit more, so that may be a con to some if they just want a standard Glock. But Bul Armory has taken it, again, another step farther, and they make really high quality firearms.
So guys, whether you're a Glock fan or not, I think that the Bul Axe Cleaver is very appealing to a lot of shooters. I mean, there's a lot of things about it. Number one, though, is again the simplicity. It's just that Glock design. But yet, it takes that old 80s design and it moves it to the 21st century. And again, we really do appreciate Bul Armory for sending the Axe C Cleaver for this review. This is a beautiful firearm. And I'm a big Glock guy, but again, the upgrades on here make it a totally different pistol. Rubber Dummies is one of the best training tools on the market, and you get a 10% discount using Suit00 when you click the link down in the description. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. The Bull! Anyone can take these pistols and, okay, I'm saying that in the tabletop, to some of the lower end.
And yes, your glandered got stock sconce. Pull back on your slide about 1/8 of an inch and then pull down on your takedown. Pull the trigger, dude.
I'm glad I'm not on the high seas right now. It'd blow you away.